I'm Sarah Baxley, and welcome to Pinkie the Bear. This is my Mystics, Metaphysics, and Mindfulness channel, and I'm here today with your astrology forecast for the week of November 4th, 2018. So the two upcoming themes for this week are 1, fresh start, and 2, all fired up. Okay, so it's really funny because there are some weeks as an astrologer that I look at the transits for the upcoming week and I'm like, okay, there's like a couple things happening, like let's like see kind of what the underlying themes are for the week. And then there's other weeks, such as this upcoming week, where there's literally like so many major transits happening all in the same week at the same time, which obviously means it's a very dynamic week. And then I have like days like today where I'm like, I have no idea how I'm gonna break down all of these things into a quick 10-minute video. So bear with me, I'm gonna try my best. Before I break into it, there's just a couple quick announcements that I wanna make. One is that for the whole month of November, all of my services are all 30% off. So if you go to my website, pinkiethebear.com, and you type in the code, oh my gosh, what is the code? Fall 30%, I'll put it right here, it's percent spelled out. It's 30% off all services. So I'm located, my office is in Southern California. So if you're located down here, then you can come and see me there. Otherwise, I do sessions via video chat through Zoom. So anyway, so that's that. I'm also going to be caring for any of you that want to follow along for next year, the new Pocket Astrologers. This is still the one for 2018, but the new Pocket Astrologers for 2019 are going to be coming in really soon. I ordered a bunch that I'm going to be selling off of my website as well. And I also have another online shop coming soon. So there's I have like lots of stuff planning, but anyway, long story short, this is really amazing, and I'm going to be talking about a lot about this next year. So if there's any of you that kind of want to follow along, it has the transits, like when retrograde stations are, you know, when planets change signs, like all of that kind of stuff. This is awesome. I literally keep one in my car, one in my office, and like one at home. It's amazing. Anyway, so I'm going to be selling those. So just keep an eye out on Instagram or my Facebook page, and I will announce it there. And then finally, the last thing is I have 91 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that is subscribing, that has been enjoying watching the videos. I love astrology, and it's really enriched my life so much. It's brought a lot of mindfulness and meaning to my life, and it feels great to be able to share that with other people. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much. I am 9 subscribers away to 100, and as soon as I hit 100, then they will, like, YouTube lets me kind of like customize, so I can do like YouTube at Pinkie the Bear, essentially. So if you haven't subscribed, then please, you know, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out with the algorithms, as well as like, you know, likes and comments and all of that stuff, because it's a computer that kind of sees all of those different algorithms. So anyway, yeah, I just want to say thank you for all of your support, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I super appreciate it. So anyway, with all of that being said, okay, let me just dive in. So this week is insane. Basically, there's 4 major things that are happening, and I'm just going to say that, and then I will show you where they fit into our themes of the week. So we have Uranus changing signs, we have the nodes changing signs, we have Jupiter changing signs, and we also have a new moon, right? So that's a lot. In case anyone was wondering, that is a lot. That's a lot of shifts. That is a lot of shifts, that is a lot of change, that is a lot of like new momentum and new energy, right? So let's start out with the first theme of the week, which is fresh start. So with a fresh start, that basically, the reason why I kind of came up with this theme is basically because we have the new moon in Scorpio that's happening this upcoming Wednesday, and we also have the nodes changing signs on Tuesday. And this is really big, right? So we have the moon, a new moon happens about like once a month, right? And it kind of signifies like a new chapter, kind of like opening up like a new kind of like beginning, essentially, right? Even if there are planets retrograde, whatever, the new moon always signifies kind of like the beginning of a new chapter, right? New chapter of your book. And then it's kind of like when you go out into the sky and you see it's like totally black, there's no moon in the sky, right? And then the moon will wax and get bigger and bigger, and then it peaks at the full moon, which in this instance, the full moon is on November 22nd. But anyway, so then it peaks at the full moon, and so a new moon within of itself kind of signifies a new chapter. Like, okay, like, you know, like, let's start kind of like building things up again. Let's kind of start having action kind of move again as well. So just that one within of itself kind of signifies a new chapter. So then to have the nodes changing signs, now that's a really big one, because that's something that only happens about every year and a half. And basically what the nodes of the moon are is there's something that's called the ecliptic, which is the apparent path of the sun, right? We know that the earth goes around the sun, but the apparent path of the sun is called the ecliptic. And there are 2 points. So the moon is obviously our satellite, and it circles around us. And there are 2 points that it hits that ecliptic, right? So it hits the path of the sun. At one point it's going up, and that's the ascending or north node. And that at the other point it's descending or going down across the ecliptic, and that is called the south node. So those 2 points, those are called the nodes respectively, right? So the north node and the south node. And in astrology, the reason why, you know, this symbolism is important, and there's so many different astrologers that do so many different types of things with the nodes, right? So the most basic, right? The most basic kind of term of the nodes is the north node is essentially our highest path, and kind of uncharted territory, kind of like where we're kind of like learning and our soul is growing. And then there's the south node, which is kind of like where we've been, what maybe might feel familiar, but it's also kind of like where it's territory that we've already done. We're not going to learn anything new, essentially, right? So that's kind of the 2 things. Now the nodes of the moon, anytime that there's an eclipse occurs within 19 degrees of the node. So that's also something that's important to know, because the nodes are really important because they're also tied in with eclipses as well, okay? So we have had the nodes in the sign of the north node in Leo and the south node in Aquarius for the last year and a half. And you know, the thing that's really important is that now it's switching into the north node in Cancer and the south node in Capricorn. And basically what that's really tapping into is that, you know, Cancer is a water sign. It's a cardinal water sign. So it's very much about us kind of initiating, kind of standing up for our feelings, right? Like, I think a lot of times, you know, there's like a thing, kind of like a stigma associated with, like, you know, having emotions is bad, or that we shouldn't honor our emotions, or having any type of like feeling is like weak or like not a good thing. And basically, over the course of the next year and a half, we're really going to see collectively as a society about kind of like more honoring the emotions, and not just doing things out of duty, not just like suiting up and showing up and getting things done and, you know, doing things out of like duty or obligation. It's going to be a lot more, we're kind of going through a time where it's important for us to honor our emotions. It's important for us to kind of really respect not only our emotions but other people's emotions, and kind of really how healthy the act of doing that is, and how much that makes us kind of more well-rounded human beings. So this is really a big shift, right? This is a big shift that happens this upcoming Tuesday, which is also election day. And, you know, and then also this upcoming Tuesday, we have Uranus ingress back into Aries, or retrograde back into Aries. And so this brings up the first of the second theme of this week, which is all fired up. And the thing is that, so we have Uranus ingress back into Aries. So all earlier this year, we've had it in the sign of Taurus, which has been an earth sign. It's kind of like maybe shaken things up for people within like the first 5 degrees or so of Taurus, because it's kind of has pushed people essentially out of their comfort zone, right? And kind of move things out of the life that isn't necessarily serving us anymore, right? So kind of having, or serving specifically people that have planets in those first, you know, sun, moon, rising in Taurus. So to have it kind of ingress back into Aries, Aries is a fire sign. Again, like last week, we finally had some fire in the sky, right? And then now this week we have, boom, Uranus in Aries. Like, you know, and Aries is all about the pioneer, all about moving forward, all about getting things done, all about kind of like having this fresh, like initiating type of energy, right? And then we have the new moon that happens the day after, right? Which is on Wednesday, which is kind of like our new chapter. And then Thursday, boom, right after, we have Jupiter switching signs also into Sagittarius. Now, the thing is that traditionally Jupiter rules both Sagittarius and Pisces. And so with Jupiter kind of moving into its own sign. It's a big deal. This is something, so Jupiter hasn't been in Sagittarius since the end, like fall, like maybe like November, December of 2006. So it's been a long time. Jupiter kind of doesn't come back around to a sign for about 12 years. So it's been a really long time since Jupiter's been in Sagittarius, and it will stay there for the next 13 months. And the reason why this is important is that Jupiter is one of the most benefic planets in astrology. Jupiter, like when you look into the solar system, right, it is like the largest planet in our solar system. It's huge. It's freaking ginormous. And so because of that, Jupiter symbolizes optimism, it symbolizes abundance, it symbolizes, can also symbolize like excess, right? Maybe like going a little bit too much, right? So it is important for us to maintain moderation with Jupiter in this placement here. So basically with Jupiter, I mean, Sagittarius energy itself is very optimistic. It's very much about looking at things, you know, from like the bright side, right? It's very much about kind of like wanting to do like everything all at the same time. Jupiter is a fire sign. It's like very much like initiating. It's also very much about adventuring, outdoorsing, you know, being with nature, kind of like coming up with new ideas. It's very philosophical. So Jupiter in Sagittarius, it's just it's a really nice, refreshing energy to have. And, you know, it kind of just definitely brings like a lot of this fire into the sky. And that's one of the reasons why you kind of hear a lot of this hype of it going on. So having Jupiter here is just, you know, it's very optimistic. And fire signs are very much about experience and experiencing life and like moving forward and kind of like having a little bit of a spark. So it's just nice to have this, you know, the largest planet in our solar system, this like big optimistic kind of planet in placement, to be kind of in this like experiencing fire sign of Sagittarius. So anyway, it's a big week. It's an exciting week. It's an exciting time. And thank you so much. And I hope that you have an awesome week. And yeah, and I'll see you next week. So anyway, thanks again, and I'll see you around. Cheers.